Hello, everyone. I am back once again with a great live today. I'm excited because I've been waiting for a long time to do a live with this particular person. And so let's give her just a few like minutes or two to see the notification that I am live. And we have a scheduled live today at 4 o'clock. Is probably a minute or two after. And hi, Mike. How are you? I'm glad that you jumped in. Um, and so I'm waiting on our special guest to arrive. I think you're going to love this topic. It's overcoming shyness. And I think shyness is one of those little areas that many people face challenges. And I'm going to share with you my challenges as well. And so I think you're going to learn quite a few things today. And I think some things that you may already know. Hey, Richard, how's it going? That you may already know. And you may gain or glean for some new, maybe additional tips. Some things you may just have thought or haven't thought about it. Or maybe you have a shy child and you're thinking like, how can I help them overcome the shyness? So we're going to be providing some, I'm going to talk about some tips and some stories. And we know Monica Duran is coming on board. You just never know. She is a wealth of knowledge and information. And so, hey, Mario, how's it going? Let Monica know that I'm available and I'm on live now. And while we're waiting, can you be so nice to let me know what state are you from? Because I'm kind of curious about where everybody's from. And let me take a moment to share this with a few people. And let me also send it to the person that's going to jump on. Give me 1 second. Hey, Monica, I see that you made it. Yay! Okay, so let me add you.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, Monica. I was just telling everybody how excited I am. See, I've been waiting for this live for a while. You just don't know. I have been completely excited. It's a great day. And
It
so
is.
this topic hold near and dear. Hey, Julie, near and dear to my heart. But before we get into the topic, can you let everybody know who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Felicia, thank you so much for having me on your page with your tribe, with your followers. I am Monica Duran from Thrive with Monica Online, and that is where your entrepreneurial journey begins. That's what we like to do when we Thrive with Monica Online. We like to begin an entrepreneurial journey and continue it on in our private group. But I am all about helping entrepreneurs as they begin their journey. I've been an internet marketer for officially now about a year, although I've been in advertising and marketing for 20 years. But I threw myself into entrepreneurship earlier this year and have really taken a deeper dive, I'd say, in the last 6 months or so into internet marketing, especially with attraction marketing here on Facebook. So that's me.
Monica, I would love if you would be so kind when this live is over to drop your page, because
Absolutely.
I follow Monica's page and she has some very insightful information and
Mm.
some things that you don't even think about. And it's like, that's why I like to follow different people, because I don't know any and everything. So you can learn from everybody. And so I think
Absolutely.
Monica has a lot of information that she continually, updates, lets people know what's going on. And that's what I like about her. And so I'm excited because guess what? I was a shy kid. I was even a shy adult.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe
How did
that?
How did you overcome that? I can't believe it. I cannot believe that, Felicia. It's very hard to believe that you've ever been shy. What did you do to overcome shyness?
Okay, as a child, I played by myself because as a child, I was the only girl like on my street. And so I
Mm-hmm.
learned to be by myself. That's why as an adult, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I can literally be locked up in my house for weeks and I'm just as content as I can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't like have social skills. I was always
Mm-hmm.
like I was always a one-on-one person, but when it became like I had to get in front of groups of people, I felt very overwhelmed as a kid. And so
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like went over in college. So if the crowd was too big or the party was too big, I wasn't interested. And
Yeah.
so it took me a long time. It wasn't till I mean, even though like when I went to graduate school, you had to like I was already a teacher, went to grad school. It was no big deal getting in front of a classroom in front of kids. But when you
Mm-hmm.
get in front of your peers, that's
Mm-hmm.
when I recognized I had a problem.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I graduated with my first master's that I realized like I have a issue being in front of adults and speaking and presenting. Like seriously.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had stage fright. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know this content, you just can't get it out.
Yeah.
So I had to position myself to force myself to get in front of people. And guess what? Back in the day, we had the yellow pages. Remember that?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Some of y'all internet people don't even know what I'm talking
No,
about.
they
You have to
don't. There's
Google
some
that
people
stuff.
that won't. They won't
So,
understand yellow page books.
I mean, so what I did was I just was looking for a job and I called a nonprofit just out of the blue, just random. Okay. Did I have, I mean, so was I prepared for that interview? Because they asked me to come the same day, 4 hours later. I was not prepared.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh
I
wow.
I went and I had to sell myself. Hey Mike, I sold myself. I convinced myself I was going to do this job because guess what? It required me to get in front of new strangers all day. I had
Wow.
to teach and I had to be a recruiter. That led me to be a recruiter for a community college district where I had to
Mm,
meet even more people, even more strangers, and learn how to network, learn how to go out into the community to be a
mm,
part of the outreach recruitment. I mean, I just
mm,
had to put myself out of there.
mm.
And so, the reality of it is that, I had to force myself to just break through. And that
Yeah.
breakthrough was not easy, but I'm glad I did because it's like by the time I hit my 30s, I was like, I'm not saying I'm a life of the party. I'm a life of the party when it's like small groups of people, but
Mm-hmm.
really and truly, I am more of a social butterfly now because I really don't care what people think anymore
Yeah.
because I was wrapped up in my brain, like, what do people
Yeah.
think? And you get stuck in that like over and over
Yeah.
for years. And
Yeah.
so I'm outgoing, but I don't
Mm.
have to be around large groups of people. It's not needed. I mean, I'm happy being on Facebook Live. And so I'm glad that I broke out of my shyness
Yeah.
because I couldn't do live. See, that's what's
Yeah.
holding people back. The shyness
Yeah.
is holding them back for being the entrepreneur that you are trying to help people become because
Yeah.
of their shyness.
Yep. So a couple of thoughts on that, and by a couple I mean several, several thoughts. Um, when I was growing up, I was told that people that are shy are very selfish people because they cannot think beyond their own beings. And as an adult, I mean, I've remembered that a lot as an adult. I've thought about that a lot as an adult because I think we all have shyness in us. I think even the
Mhm.
biggest extrovert is an introvert. I've had people on my teams and I've met people who are like the life of the party and they were just mortified. And the way that they expressed their shyness was by being extroverts. But in reality, what they were doing was working a room. They were working very hard to engage people and they took it on as a job. So if I try to combine what I have seen as an adult and what I heard as a child, where I net out is we're all shy.
Mhm.
We all have a sense of shyness. And I do think that the source of shyness, when we ask, well, why are those people so shy? It's because they care about what other people
Mhm.
think. They care They care about what other people think, and they care too much about themselves. And so the recommendation that I like to give people who are incredibly shy, and that it's worked for me, is just walk into a room and try to be of service to somebody. Try to help and offer a smile. Let your effort, your best foot forward, let that effort be the smile on the face. Try to relax, like become aware of where you are. Relax yourself and know that you're walking into a very large room and that there are people in there that are just as nervous and shy as you. I'm the type of person, much like yourself perhaps, I have a difficult time with networking events. I don't particularly care for networking events. I was in a self-development course about 2 weeks ago in San Diego with a room full of maybe 30 people that I didn't know anybody in there. And I made it a point to step out and refresh myself. When I came back in, they had already started the first breakout session, or the first, it's not a breakout session, it's the first meet and greet kind of session, so that people could kind of loosen up. And so I asked somebody randomly, what are we doing? And what am I supposed to be doing? And they're like, you're supposed to be walking up to people, introducing yourself. And I was like, damn. And he, he looked at me, he looked at the expression on my face, and he said, get out of your comfort zone and just start meeting people. And I was like, all right, this is it, right? So you walk up, and everyone in the room was uncomfortable. It was just like, hey, I'm Monica. What are you doing here? Like, what's your business? And having 2 or 3 questions at networking events is the best thing to do, right? And practice those before you walk in. So one, not just where are you from, but how far did you have to travel to get here? That's a better question because it's more engaging. And they can ask you, or like, turned out I was the one that traveled the furthest to get there that day. The other question is, what brings you here today? What are you expecting out of this, right? So these are probing questions. It's beyond, hi, my name is Monica. Great to meet you. I'm from Miami. That's just kind of cold in an introduction. It's more like, hey, how you doing? I'm Monica. Where did you travel from to get here today? Oh, I traveled down the road. Oh, wow. So you live in San Diego. And then you can start a conversation. Or what are you expecting to get out of this today? Well, I'm in e-commerce, and I don't know the technical side. And that starts another conversation. So the idea is to serve and to start a conversation with others. And when you do that, you're actually stepping out of yourself. When you step out of yourself, then you're not even thinking about yourself. You're thinking about them. You're asking them the question. And that becomes an engagement process. And before you know it, like out of the 30 people, it turned out that two of the people in the room I already knew from a previous event. So it was great to re-engage with them. And I made a new friend, a third person, which by the end of the 2 days, she looked at me and she's like, can we connect? Can we stay connected? What other events are you going to next year? So there's a friendship, there's a bond there. And to walk out of a networking event and have 3 contacts, people that you've truly connected with in this day and age, I think is a pretty good, big deal. And it's a good investment of time. So all of us are shy. I mean, that is my ultimate message. And much like yourself, Felicia, I feel like I do a lot better in small groups. Mm-hmm. And then the other place that I wanted to go with this, and the way that you and I have met, is through Facebook Lives, right? Mm-hmm. I was not doing Facebook Lives 2 months ago. I was not. I was scared to death of the camera. I've come from a place where I was always putting talent in front of camera and taking care of the back end production, but I was never the talent. And for me to now look at myself as someone who is going to add value to the universe and to an audience's day is very different. It's a very different mindset, right? I had to change what was programmed in here. I had to remember that I'm not talent, because this is not a television production. This is Facebook Lives, and it's a social media platform where people are coming to either engage in a social environment or to run their business. And so you need to add value with whatever you're saying. And those types of mindsets are very, very important to change. So when you're getting in front of the camera, again, it's, okay, I'm here to serve. My message, what is my message today to this audience, and how can I be of service? So I think that really helps anyone break out of their shell.
Well, I think that, like with the Facebook Live, over time, I've noticed that I'm more relaxed. I'm more like the person I am in real life and in the classroom. Because see, in the classroom,
Absolutely.
I don't get nervous unless I'm teaching a new course.
Yep.
because I've done it so long that it's just like, okay, I don't need the textbook because you just know the content after so long.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, like, so I don't really have the shyness in that arena, but the shyness comes out if, like you said, at a larger networking event. So what I try to do is work the room from angles, like corner to corner. So then you
Smart.
then you have the center left.
That's
So
very
by that
smart.
time you've worked everybody around, you know their face and something about them. Then you work the center. Then like, okay, now I've worked the whole room, and then I
Mm-hmm.
also compliment. So sometimes if I don't know what to say,
Mm-hmm.
I'll compliment you. And that kind of breaks that little quirk.
That's it's an excellent tip. When we first started, I was feeling very nervous a moment ago. I was going to say, what a cute hat. But then it was like, we started and I said, okay, I'll get to that in a minute. But absolutely finding people and saying, I love your brooch or I love your shoes or, oh my God, the shoes. I
Mhm.
always go for the shoes because I'm a shoe lover, or an accessory or something like that. That's a really great tip, Felicia.
And also the body language goes with it. So
Absolutely.
when you're shy, you have to make sure that you're not showing that in your shoulders and your posture.
Yeah.
You got to like
Yeah.
get that body
Yeah.
smile
Yeah.
out so they can see like you are very engaging, you're approachable. So you
Yeah.
have to work on your outside language
Yes.
because people don't want to approach you and you do. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like people don't think about like as you get older, you still have these things that you work through. It doesn't go away. We're like a work in
No.
progress.
No. I have a former account director that used to partner with me and who is now a very dear friend of mine. She came from the world of public relations. So she studied communications at Thunderbird University, I think, in Arizona or Arizona State, but she studied out of Arizona. And so very well prepared PR, public relations professional. And she was fulfilling a role that was outside of her comfort zone. So we had to partner a lot. I had the opportunity to teach her a lot, and she had the opportunity to teach me a lot about public relations. We were going to a meeting one day to speak to some new clients. It was a prospecting meeting, and she looked at me and she said, at the end of the day, in every single group, she said, it's just like walking into the high school gym or the cafeteria. She said, it doesn't matter how old we are. When we walk into that room, you're going to have the leader, you're going to have the bully, you're going to have the preppy, you're going to have the person who's in and the person who's out. And our job, as quickly as possible, is to identify who is who on that team and make sure that we are pushing the right buttons to get them to work as a team so that they're delivering to our agenda. And I was like, damn, you are so smart. So smart,
That's brilliant.
right? It was brilliant. It was brilliant. And as soon as we walked in there, I mean, we understood who we were going to be speaking with, but they made it even easier because the alpha of the group took over and everybody else remained silent. Everyone else just nodded their heads and said yes when they had to and said no when they didn't. It was like, okay, that was an easier meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you'll walk into larger conference rooms and you do have people who are kind of flexing their muscles and trying to get out of their comfort zone or take more difficult questions because they need a pay raise or whatever. So it can be sticky in a business situation, I think, and it's really important to be able to read that table, read personalities, and understand that at the end of the day, we're all kind of kids inside.
Mm-hmm.
We're all you're kind of back in high school to a degree. I think there are different levels of maturity that I can appreciate more now that I am a more mature woman.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
certainly appreciate levels of maturity a lot more. However, I am very cognizant because of this dear friend of mine and her teachings, very cognizant of the fact that I'm walking into a room as if it were high school, and got to approach it that way sometimes.
That's a serious analogy, and there are two things that I really work on. When sometimes I notice, and my husband always says this to me, like you can meet a stranger, and within 3 to 5 minutes, people are telling you like their personal
Yeah,
stuff. And I think
yeah,
because I've become approachable and people feel comfortable, and so sometimes when you're vulnerable with someone else, they'll reciprocate, and
yes,
sometimes it can serve that you being vulnerable can serve as an opportunity to support someone else and you don't recognize it. And so
Yep.
while you're being vulnerable, I try to pay attention to eye contact.
Uh-huh.
If you look away too much, that shows me that you're very insecure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do this all the time with my students when I lecture. I want them to know that I'm paying attention to them. So when I give them that
Mm-hmm.
eyeball contact, they go like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're staring at me." I mean, it's like it's funny
Yeah.
sometimes because they'll like
Yeah.
look what she's still looking. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
looking at you.
Yeah.
Because to me it shows that I am acknowledging you as a person.
Well, and I think it also shows focus. And
Mm-hmm.
with there are some cities in the world where people don't make eye contact.
It's true.
And it absolutely drives me bonkers that you could be walking down the street and, just exercising. And sometimes people will say good morning and sometimes they don't say a thing, but 9 times out of 10, no one's even making eye contact
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want the engagement. Now, I can respect that if you're looking for some me time, you want to be alone, but it happens all the time. Like, it's scary the way we don't look each other in the eyes anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe it's shyness kicking in. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to knock that piece. Maybe it's the fact that we're all more comfortable behind a screen and just typing away or doing audio messages. I don't know. But I do think it's really important for us to be able to make eye contact and, to your point, acknowledge, people point blank.
Yeah, and I think that people want to be acknowledged, and I think that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just like as we are getting older, we can
Mm-hmm.
see and we can go back and look at our youth and say, you know what, I was shy in these elements. Now, I have nothing to lose. See, that's why I'm at a whole nother level of
Yeah.
can't go ever go back and being shy because
I love you. This
because
is
you just
awesome.
you start to discover you miss out
Yes.
because I
Yes.
mean you just miss out on events,
Yeah.
opportunities. I mean,
Yeah.
people have asked me to get in front of like rooms of people on the fly, and I'm like, what am I gonna say? Okay, but you
You
usually
make something up. Yeah.
yeah, and but you just have to force yourself to get
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Through being
Yeah.
uncomfortable, you're going
Yeah.
to be your best self. But you got to go through this process. Are you going to stammer, stutter? Yes, you're going to do all of that. But guess what? You're
Yeah.
going to live through it.
Yeah.
Just
And the other thing, I mean, two things. Did you do theater at all in the past in your life? You've never done theater? Okay. I did theater in high school. I wasn't good enough to do it in college, but I did do it in high school, and it helped me so much
mm-hmm.
because you do have to memorize scripts and lines and whatever and kind of put yourself in this character's shoes. But it made me a better critique of rooms. It made me a better critique of myself. So I often remember little things, like wipe your feet before you walk onto the stage. And what it's a reset of yourself, your posture, what you were saying a moment ago, your
Mm-hmm.
posture,
Mm-hmm.
resetting yourself and really focusing your brain on where you're going to be. I pick up on those things even today in my young old age. I I pick up on those little things to make sure that I am present when I walk into a room. And there was one other thing I was going to mention about what you were saying with the reset, and I don't remember right now. So and the other thing is, doing these live videos and getting in front of the camera, doing dual lives with people that people that you want to do business with or partner with, or people who can add value to your page, whatever the situation might be. This is also a really great way to break out of your
Mm-hmm.
shyness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying yesterday on a post that I had that for people who've never done a live video post or who've only done one or two and still feel kind of awkward about it, there's a feature on Facebook where the viewership of the video says only me.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're probably public, right? We're public. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a feature on there, and maybe you guys can, if anybody wants to know this, you can hit Felicia up or me up later, and we can show you. But there's a feature where you can put only me, and that will allow you to record a video, and the only person who will see it is you. It'll show up on your timeline, on your feed, but you're the only person who can see it. And that way you can start analyzing yourself. It's so important to rewatch your videos. If we think about athletes, professional athletes, basketball players, football players, baseball players, they spend a lot of time with their coaches rewatching the game
Mm-hmm.
on video and getting better. So if there's one thing that technology has given us an opportunity to do is to record ourselves, like massively. Everyone can record themselves. If you've got a phone, you can record yourself. Get in front of that camera and start talking to it. Talk to it, talk about anything. But talk to the camera for about 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Introduce yourself, have some content, say goodbye, have a call to action, say goodbye, and then go back and rewatch it. And if you can, get yourself a mentor or a coach who's going to help you to improve on that. And that is one key way to break out of your shyness. And that will open up many other doors. Felicia, you mentioned something to the group that we're in previously, that you were called on the spot for an interview, and what they wanted was a video from you, and that you did that very quickly and very easily. You noticed that a lot of other people had difficulty producing a video. Is that accurate?
That's true. That's true. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I'm learning now, and when you start going, trying to transition or do something different,
Mm-hmm.
people want to put you on video instead of bringing you into the office and sitting in a
Yeah.
panel of people, like five,
Yeah.
6, 10 people.
Yeah.
You're in front of a video camera. And so that's
Yeah.
a turn off to many people because they have not experienced Instagram Live, Facebook Live. They have not
Mm-hmm.
experienced this whole video world. And so you're
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, like, what do I do? How do I do it? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like you're kind of preparing for your future, but you don't recognize it. You're building skill sets that you're going to use down the road. And so you could be perfecting those skills now. So when you
Mm-hmm.
have to do something at the last minute, like what I had to do, I was nervous because it is what it is, but I could get my message out because I was already psychologically prepared. That's the key.
Perfect. Perfect. And I think that's the key message with shyness, right? You
Hmm.
have to be psychologically prepared. I mean, when you're dealing with a shy child, that's completely different. And
Hmm.
and I don't want to go into that as much as I
Yeah.
would with an adult. We as adults will always have a sense of shyness within us. We carry a lot of, I mean, without getting dramatic or anything, but we carry a lot of trauma inside of us. We carry memories inside of us that sometimes you don't even know why you're reacting the way you're reacting. It's like, because I was in this situation once before and this happened to me, and you get scared, your guard's up. And that's fair. It's completely fair. But going back to the theater example, it's a reset. You're resetting. It's cut. And somebody in my self-development course when I was out in San Diego said this to me. It was like, if you are filming a movie, they say cut. You've got a director that's telling you, can you give me a little bit more of this and a little bit less of that? And then you do it again. Some people call it a do-over. You're going to
Hmm.
do so this is take 2. Now this is take 3. Now this is take 4. Keep practicing and practicing. And so you get yourself into a situation psychologically where you walk into a scenario, a room, an interview, a conversation with people you don't know, and it feels a little bit more natural because you're more comfortable in your own skin. And
Hmm.
and I think the shyness and the embarrassments oftentimes are because we're not comfortable in our own skin. I know for myself, one of the reasons that I never wanted to be in front of the camera was because I didn't really like myself. I did not like what I saw on the camera. And it took a lot of work and a lot of pushing and a lot of, demanding of myself to just be accepting. Okay, this is it. And it's more important to have that strong voice. And I started to look at qualities, and I started to like myself a lot more. So now when I watch the video, it's like, okay, I can be critical but not mean to me.
Hmm.
And when we're shy, we're very mean to ourselves.
That's
We're
true.
very self-critical of, and that's why I was saying at the beginning, I think it comes from a place of selfishness where we're horrible to ourselves, and we tell ourselves we're not worth it, that we're not any good, that everybody else can do it better. And that just justifies the fact that we're going to be more shy and more in our shells. To your point, Felicia, we just miss out on life.
We do. We do. I mean, like I go back and look at my videos, and my husband, he laughs, but you got to learn to laugh at yourself. Or, I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to make some
Yes.
bloopers and blunders. You have to learn to
Yes.
embrace those bloopers and blunders and move on.
Absolutely.
I mean, and so
Yep.
for me, it's like, um, if I sat here, I mean, we don't have time to, we can't edit all this stuff unless you want to edit and put it on YouTube and it wants to be perfect and pristine. But really, we're doing a lot. So if
Yeah.
something happens, it's just going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And this is how real life is. When you go to a conference, you're going to interface with people that, maybe more than once. And so you have to come up with being comfortable. You have to
Yes.
find the person inside of you so you can
Mm.
showcase your personality. Sometimes you don't realize you're preparing for an interview and you
Mm.
don't see it. Just
Yep.
by engaging with people, like when you shake somebody's hand, people already know when I shake your hand, it's going to be a tight shake.
Yeah.
Like, so you're gonna remember me. It's not gonna be all this, you know what I mean. So, so they're gonna remember, because even men go like, shake
Yeah.
my hand again, and I do. You're gonna
Yeah.
remember me because you're gonna see that I'm assertive, and so I want to show you that
Mm.
I'm not passive. I'm assertive enough to interface with you, to engage with you, and
Yeah.
so I think that, Monica, we got to bring you back on. I'm just loving our vibe. We got a little vibe going on here. You're a wealth of information.
Yeah.
So I want to do several more different topics with you. I mean, I just been
Absolutely.
waiting for this moment.
Absolutely, Felicia. Anytime we can reconnect on any other topic, anything that's got to do with business and self-development, and I'm there for you. I'm going out to self-development course tomorrow,
Oh,
and I will be out trying to figure out Monica a little bit more for the next
see.
5 days.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to bring back some of my learnings and do another duel with you whenever you're
Yes.
ready for it.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm going to love that. And I appreciate,
No, I
you being
appreciate you.
so open, because not everybody wants to, like, I don't mind sharing some of my personal experiences. And I appreciate that you feel comfortable enough, especially
Yeah,
this platform and a
yeah.
different audience. And you didn't exhibit any shyness, and you just
Well.
expressed yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity again to speak to your tribe. And I think it's a great topic. I think a lot of people do feel shy, and that's what keeps them from doing Facebook Lives. And I mean, I just have to remind everyone, if you're not doing videos and you're not doing Facebook Lives, you're shooting yourself in your foot from a business perspective, because
Mm-hmm,
there are
mm-hmm.
over 2 billion people on Facebook. And your business could be reaching other continents and other people who need your service or who need your knowledge. So if you're not doing that to yourself, if you're not doing this for yourself, you really are missing out. And we're here to help. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
don't know, Felicia, I mean, it's a little bit of a plug, but we are here to help, and we have the right connections and we have the right groups, and a lot of this help comes at no cost to you. All you have to do is ask. You need to ask. You need to ask for the help. You need to reach out, and you need to be willing to do the work, and that will get you going. And at least for me, I will speak for myself, I get tremendous satisfaction out of seeing the growth of other individuals. Of course, we are business people, and we do want to monetize a lot of our activities, but we know that there are costs there are barriers. There are barriers, especially when you're starting out. There's not a whole lot of cash flow. And so we've made it so that for people who really want to break out of their shyness and learn how to do Facebook Lives or engage in duels, the cost of entry is zero. And both Felicia and I belong to a group where we can
Mm-hmm.
hook you up and get you going. So just ask. All you have to do is reach out to Felicia or reach out to me, and we will connect you with the right people.
Exactly. So, with that note, please make sure that you're aware that we're here to help cultivate you, make you better, make you stronger, make you more confident.
Mm-hmm.
So, Monica, thank you so much for your time and
Thank you,
fit me in your
Felicia.
schedule.
I will. No, thank you so much for fitting me into your schedule, my dear, and for taking the initiative. And I will look forward to reconnecting with you and your tribe very, very soon.
Cool. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.